recognize that the Champlain Valley Unitarian Universalist Society gathers on the traditional lands of the Western Abenaki people. We respect the Abenaki's spiritual and life-giving relationship to this land. We seek to honor the living traditions of the Abenaki and other First Nations, and we humbly hope to learn from them how we may better live in harmony, peace, and justice.
Good morning and welcome to our virtual worship service. December services are led by members of the congregation and special guests. My name is Mike Greenwood, and I will be acting as your worship associate for this service. This Land is Your Land, festival on the screen, led by Lynn, Shannon, Carol, Jay, Jeff, Sydney, Connie, Dee, Jason, and our special guest, Howard Lyons. We are delighted you made the choice to be with us this morning. We are richer in spirit and community because you did. So thank you for being with us, as well as thoughts and questions about today's service. Don't regret missing out on this opportunity. Come, let us worship together.
It looks like we might be having some sound irregularities, so if you missed some of that, it was Mike saying welcome, and you're part of Festival on the Green, on the screen. Now, our theme for Festival on the Screen is, I keep getting Alvin and the Chipmunks here talking. I don't know.
We need to keep Francois muted because there's something going on with his mic.
Yes. Francois, if you can stay muted. For us, it sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Not a bad sound, but it's just hard. Well, our Festival on the Screen is called This Land is Your Land. It focuses on the Woody Guthrie song that's entitled This Land is Your Land, but we've turned it into a question. Is this land your land? Is this land my land? Woody actually wrote the song as a protest song in the face of the economic disparity during the Great Depression. It was written also in response to God Bless America. And at the time, people soaked up Kate Smith's syrupy blessing and didn't pay much attention to Woody Guthrie. But decades later, the song made its way into children's curriculum and the social protest lyrics were left out. And the more safe, familiar lyrics were left in. It was Pete Seeger performing with Bruce Springsteen who unburied the protest song and really challenged challenged everyone of whose land is this anyway? Is it just for the rich? Is it just for the white? Is it just for the human species? What about Native Americans? Consider these verses of This Land is Your Land, and let this be our call to worship. As I went walking, I saw a sign there, and on the sign it said, "No trespassing." But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. One sunny morning, in the shadow of the steeple by the relief office, I saw my people. As they stood there hungry, I stood there wondering, is this land blessed for you and me? You think it's your land, but it once was our land until we sold you Manhattan Island. You pushed our nations to the reservations. This land was stole by you from me. It was a protest song. At the end of the service, we'll invite you to join in the protest song. You can join the protest by singing the verses that resonate with you, or you can join the protest by not singing. Glad you're here.
And now our chalice lighting, and we're going to begin with an Apache blessing. May the sun bring you energy by day. May the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries. May the breeze blow new strength into your being. May you walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days of your life. Please join us in singing Mother Earth.
All our days you crowned our beings, sage I'm Carol Harden. I had to take my mask off because I want to tell you a story. It's a true story. So once I was at a meeting with a whole bunch of grown-ups sitting around in a room with tables, and we had computers and stacks of paper. It was a meeting to make some decisions about which out of 100 wonderful ideas we were going to make into projects. And this was a meeting for people who work for a big company that produces a magazine and sometimes TV shows. So it was a very important meeting. All of a sudden, there was a lot of shouting outside, and so we had to stop the meeting. We ran outside to see what was going on, and oh, did I tell you? The meeting was on a boat. So the shouting was about a very, very special animal that they wanted us to see. So we stopped the meeting, and we all went up to see this very special animal. Now, what do you think this special animal was? What is so special we would have stopped an important grown-up meeting? It's the biggest animal that ever lived in the world, even bigger by weight than the dinosaurs. So it was a blue whale. There was a blue whale in the water right near our boat. So we all leaned over the rail and we watched the blue whale, and then eventually the whale went back under and we continued our meeting. So that was such a special moment, and it was amazing that we stopped our important business meeting for this very special animal, but we were so excited and we are so thrilled that we get to share our planet with such special creatures.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All God's creatures got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing high. Some sing out loud on a telephone wire. Some just clap their hands and pause for anything they got now. Listen to the bass, it's the one on the bottom where the bullfrog croaks, and the hippopotamus won't crow. The big to do, and the old cow just goes moo. The dogs and the cats, they take up the middle while the honeybee hums and the cricket fiddles, the donkey prays and the donkey neighs, the old coyote howls. All God's creatures got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing high. Some sing out loud on a telephone wire. Some just clap their hands and pause for anything they got now. Listen to the top little leaf birds sing on the melodies with the high notes ring. The hoo-ha hollers over everything, and Jaybird disagrees.
Disagree!
Singing in the nighttime, singing in the day, the little duck quacks and he's on his way. The possum ain't got much to say, and the porcupine talks to himself. Hello, self.
How you doing?
All God's creatures got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing high, some sing out loud on a telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or pause or anything they got now. It's a simple song of living sung everywhere by the ox and the fox and the grizzly bear, the grumpy alligator and the hawk, the sly raccoon and the turtle dove. Peace. All God's creatures got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing high, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or pause or anything they got now.
Today, our monetary collector, the Black Freedom Fund. The Black Freedom Fund was established by Crystal Brown, choreographer, educator, performer, writer, activist, and an associate professor of dance at Middlebury College. Crystal established the fund in response to individuals asking, how can I help others? The Black Freedom Fund will offer assistance to Black artists, families, and a nonprofit who, due to COVID-19, lack money and resources due to canceled work engagements and other reasons. Please give as you are able. During the offering, this is also a good time to submit any milestones and passages you would like to share. Please do that using the chat. Thank you.
banjo, America's instrument. Born in captivity on the plantations of the American landscape to African parents. The banjo bears a striking family resemblance to many of the
hide-covered stringed instruments of Western Africa, such as the ngoni or the kalem. But no, none of them more so than the akonting of Gambia, a three-stringed instrument with a long neck and a body made from a calabash gourd with a goat skin stretched over it. It not only looks like the banjo, but it's even played in a style that is very similar to the modern banjo style referred to as clawhammer. Beyond that fairly straightforward anthropological evidence that points to the instrument's origins, however, we know very little about its early history. Because just like the people who invented it, most of the banjo's history has been stolen, erased, and forgotten.
I'd like to thank those who made those tunes possible, but especially Shannon for his leadership on those. As we look at our milestones and passages, there are two that were appearing in the chat. One is from Francois, and he was also nominated for a Grammy and is looking forward to the possibility of being interviewed for Oprah's O Magazine. Excellent. Congratulations, Francois. And yes. And on the other side of life, Margie was honoring the anniversary of the death of her father by getting the boat into Lake Champlain and sailing with memories of her dad. So our heart is with you, Margie, and also that very beautiful image of you remembering and honoring your father.
So let us hold all these spoken and unspoken milestones and passages in our hearts and in our souls, because we can carry it all. Blessed be.
Our time of meditation will have three components. One, a time of silence. Two, an image of Otter Creek, which is a stream that connects many Vermonters. And then it'll shift to a very meditative song by Howard Lyons, in which words are simply Mother Earth, a holy place. Mother Earth, a holy place. So let us come together, hold each other, even as this land holds us.
all the same law. Give them all an even chance to live and grow. All men were made by the same great spirit chief. They are all brothers. The earth is the mother of all people, and all people should have equal rights upon it. You might as well expect the rivers to run backwards as that any man who was born a free man should be content when penned up and denied liberty to go where he pleases. If you tie a horse to a stake, do you expect that he will grow fat? If you pin an Indian up on a small spot of earth and compel him to stay there, he will not be content, nor will he grow and prosper. I have asked some of the great white chiefs where they get their authority to say to the Indian that he shall stay in one place. For they see white men going where they please. They cannot tell me. Living from my land, it's a wonder we survive.
Thank you, Howard, for sharing those songs with us. One, a beautiful celebration of this land as Mother Earth and all of the ways that Earth supports our life. And the other, a grief of taking away land, controlling land, and pushing people to the margins. And how do we respect and listen to the Abenaki, or the first peoples of this land? At this time, Jason Duquette Hoffman has a poem written by Joseph Bruchak, an Abenaki, about our land, really the Abenaki's land.
Thanks, Liam. And as I hear the words of Joseph Bruchak speaking to us through this poem, I think about being born here in Vermont and living my life here in Vermont, growing up, wandering through the mountain creeks and woods of the Mad River Valley, and raising my kids here, and hearing these words as a true invitation and admonition to decolonize the way that I encounter this place that I have always known. as home. The poem is Ndakina, Our Land. You cannot understand our land with maps, lines drawn as if earth were an animal's carcass, cut into pieces, skinned, divided, devoured, though always less eaten than is thrown away. See this land instead with the wind eagle's eyes, how the rivers and streams link like sinew through a leather garment, sewed strong to hold our people, patterns of flowers close to the brown soil. Do not try to know this land by roads, hard lines ripped through old stones, roads which still call for blood of not just those who cross, wild eyes blinded by twin suns startling the night, but also those who seek to follow the headlong flow atop that dark frost, unthawed by the sun. Those seasons and the insistent lift of the smallest seeds seek without ceasing space for the old soil. Instead, let your feet caress this soil in the way of the deer, whose feet follow and form trails through the ways of least resistance, knowing ridges and springs, ways of wind through the seasons, the taste of green twig and tender grass, the sweet scent of rain urged up from moist earth. When you feel this land, when you taste this land, when you hold this land as your lungs hold your breath, you will be the rattlesnake, always embracing earth with her passage. You will be the salmon, a chant whipped through the ripple. You will be the deer mouse, small feet, stitching the night. You will be the bear, thunder held in soft steps. When your songs see this land, when your ears sing this land, you will be this land. You will be this land.
I want to thank you for joining us for this festival on the screen. Wish it could have been a festival on the green, but we still found community. Thank you to the community that made this possible. Shannon on the banjo and Jay on the one-string bass, and those singing, Carol and Connie and Sydney, and the artwork of Dee Carroll. Thank you to Margie and Richard for behind the scenes. So many people to thank. Thank you to Mike and Jason for your encouragement and patience. I'd like to end with a reading from Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, who is Potawatomi, and their lands are in West Michigan, where I grew up. She talks about coming to the Mohawk village, where I brought my children to hear stories and songs from our Mohawk brothers and sisters. That's where I met Howard. And I'm going to share her reading along with an piece of artwork by Dee Carroll. Dee Carroll is a new member of our church, lives in Westport, and she responds to the love of the land by watching it closely and translating it to canvas. It's a way of saying, I see you and I respect you. Hear now these words by Robin Wall Kimmerer. In the settler mind, land is property, real estate, capital, or natural resources. But to our people, it is everything, identity, the connection to our ancestors, the home of our non-human kinfolk, our pharmacy, our library, the source of all that sustains us. Our lands are where our responsibility to the world is enacted. Our land is sacred ground and a profound gift. Blessed